It is with great pleasure to welcome the panel discussions today on the role of open source intelligence and competition in conflict. This is a very timely topic, as you've seen a lot of news about intelligence recently. And as the United States has effectively ended combat deployments in the Middle East and entered into great power competition, and COVID has pushed more people online than ever in our entire history, open source intelligence information will play a bigger role than it ever has in gaining a competitive edge around the world. And as a current serving Green Beret in the National Guard, I am very excited to hear the discussion today. And our host, Congressman Darrell Issa, he is going to give our opening remarks. He was an Army officer himself, a technologist, and he is a senior member of the House of Representatives here to give our open remarks. Thank you.
A lot has changed since I ran a computer facility for the Combat Developments Command in the 1970s. But nothing has changed more than what is a secret versus what is simply unknown to you. Today's panel really deals with something that has evolved over the last 20 years in a way that can never be turned back. Before AI was the buzzword, there were dozens and dozens and dozens of people searching internet and open source to find kernels of knowledge that, if cobbled together, gave you what was once a secret. Little quick story. When I was on the Select Intelligence Committee, I also took a trip to visit our troops in combat. And as I greeted David Petraeus, then the commander, he said he wanted me to see something he was really proud of. And he took me to his own open source facility with about 60 analysts working every day on their theater open source. You know, there's one thing you don't do to a 3 or 4 star, and that is chastise them for their spending of money. But I took it on myself to say, you know, the CIA has stood up, and I was acutely aware because we just funded it, a significant increase in open source that was available to him. And he said, yes, but open source is only as good as your focus on what you're looking for. That has changed. You no longer look for something, you look for everything. You no longer find what you're looking for by indexing. You find everything and need only ask the question of what you want, or even, what do I need? That is the future. The future is a system that tells you what you need, not you asking for what you want. That's where we are. That's a part of where the panel will talk about. And it's particularly, Daniel left me. Oh, he's still there. This room is very interesting because unless you close those blinds, you're periodically seeing and not seeing, which is appropriate for the members of Congress's reading room. But as you sit here in a room that was designed for members of Congress to come, request books from the librarians who would go to their paper stack indexes, find the book and bring it up to you, and if you wanted, find the index page or the information you asked for and bring it to you. This room has not been used for that purpose in a very long time for a very good reason. But it is being used today for the right reason, which is to ask the question that I most want to see at the end of this, and that is, when it comes to knowing everything you didn't know you needed to know in order to defeat an enemy you don't even know is yet your enemy, will we be first or will we lose? And that's the question for the panel today is, will we be first? Because there will be no second place in artificial intelligence. There'll be no second place in all information. And I'll just close with one thing. We just had a disastrous leak that a 21-year-old with a top secret clearance facilitated in all likelihood. When I was 18 years old, I was granted the same clearance. It's not about age, it's about access. It's not about did he download it? But it's a question of, is that information being kept in a way that if it's taken by somebody who didn't have a need to know the preponderance of what he took, with the systems in place to catch it? Open source needs to be protected from others knowing what we know just as much as the most secret items. Because today it's the cumulative knowledge that you get from open source that is probably the most valuable asset of those who want to keep us safe. So I've taken more than the normal opening time, and I appreciate your indulgence. Also appreciate your being here an hour early. You know, just so you know, by Congress, being here 10 minutes late is considered being on time. And in the Army, arriving on time was being late. So for that reason, we'll let it begin. Thank you, and Daniel, it's back to you.